Can caregivers actually work on increasing their patience? Well, let's find out on JoJo, the Caregiver Show. Now, the Oxford definition of patience is our capacity to handle suffering, which are the events or situations that are around us, and our capacity to handle them in a tolerable manner, which just means you can handle events or situations that occur to you, especially when you're a caregiver. So capacity means, can we build up our patience enough in order to handle difficult situations that will occur during our caregiver routine? Now, we've all had days where we've been at work, we're looking after several residents, many things seem to be going wrong at the same time. And sometimes this leads us to have a negative reaction or overreact to situations. But the way to handle this is, number one, know that you're in control always of how you respond to a situation. You cannot control everything that occurs around you during your caregiver shift, but you can always control your response to it. Your response is going to be based on the meaning that you give the event or situation that is causing you stress. And your meaning will also be amplified by your emotions. So it usually starts off for how we think about a situation. We give it meaning, and then we're going to give it on a scale of 1 to 100. Some of us go to 1,000. But we're going to give it the emotional meaning, which then leads to our reaction or our behavior. It actually influences our decisions as caregivers as well. So number one, know that you're in control of that response. Number two, focus on what you can control. Always focus on what you can control. Now, if you've ever had a difficult situation and you kind of reacted to it, you kind of know that a reaction is much different than a response. A reaction is something that we do kind of instinctually, kind of like the animal kingdom with instincts. And reactions are something you do not want to do as a caregiver. This is how you get into trouble if you overreact to a situation. Could also be with staff members, people you're looking after, clients, that type of thing. So you're trying to get more in control of that type of reaction. You're trying to actually turn it into a response. A response is much different. Our response is when you think about a situation first and you come back with more of a thoughtful or intelligent response. So always try to respond to situations instead of reacting. And if you think about it, before you respond or react, there's always a few seconds there. Even if you react right away to a situation, there's always a few seconds or even a few milliseconds. And those milliseconds are what we call the space of patience. The space of patience is those few short milliseconds that you're in control of. You are in control of that space. The idea is, how can you make that space bigger, giving you more capacity and more patience? And basically how you do that is find something that can control that space whenever a difficult situation faces you. Some people use mantras, like they'll repeat things over and over in their head, which is the one that I always used as a caregiver. So I worked 10 years as a caregiver. And whenever I had a stressful situation, I would think in my head, peace or peace upon me. Or sometimes I would repeat love, 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 love. It kind of fills that space for a few seconds until you can get control of that space. But once you're in control of that space, that's going to lead you to kind of control the meaning of the situation, what it means to you. It's going to control how much emotion you put with that meaning, and it will also help you control your behaviors. Every time we respond, it has to do with meaning that's connected to our emotions. Our emotions amplify the meaning, and that leads to our behavior. It also has a big role to play whenever we make decisions, right? We make decisions based on the meaning we give things and the emotions that fall behind that meaning. So we're always trying to build up that space to increase our capacity further. So try to develop some type of technique where you can kind of fill that space until you get control of the meaning and the thinking. Some people like to use gemstones that they can hold on to. And the more you practice this technique, the bigger the space gets. Or they hold on to their favorite piece of jewelry, or they do some type of breathing. Anything that kind of fits into what you believe in will help you get control of that space. So I think the idea for caregivers is to try and develop more of a conscious awareness to the situations that occur during your shifts as a caregiver. And the more conscious awareness you can give things, the more you're going to be in control of that situation. So I think the more that you can increase your space, the more that you will increase your capacity to show your clients patience. And I think showing your clients patience is a very good way to reflect positively on your clients. It's kind of like saying, I recognize you, I acknowledge you, I'm going to show you patience because we're both human beings, and I'm going to accept the situation of what is occurring right now, and kind of gives you that feeling of getting control of the situation that you have in front of you. So I think if you do that, it will make your workplace much more workable, if you could say that, or it might make it more like a higher quality of work that you're going to provide to your clients. But in turn, you're going to kind of leave those negative situations behind if you can kind of control your response to things. So always remember, choose a response over a reaction, and try to practice getting control of that space before you do have a response. Hope that was helpful, and I'll see you next time on JoJo the Caregiver Show.